Welcome back to Rating the List, where we review, discuss, and reimagine popular movie lists objectively. We're your hosts. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Brad, and on this episode we'll be exploring number 14 from Sports Illustrated's The Top 50 Sports Movies of All Time.
All right, number 14 is The Freshman, released in 1925, directed by Fred Neumeier and Sam Taylor, starring Harold Lloyd and Jobina Ralston.
Nerdy college freshman Harold Lamb will do anything to become popular, including joining the football team despite having no idea how to play.
So, silent movie.
I think this is the second silent movie.
Is it second?
I think it is. I think
Okay.
Was that other... we had the
Yes.
we had the Marx Brothers one.
Yes.
That did have dialogue. I
Yep.
think there's another silent one.
I
on
think
the
you're
list.
right. I
I
think
think
you're
this is. I
right.
think this is the second one.
Okay. I kind of dig silent movies.
Like, it's really funny because we get these like movies that get put onto these lists, and I kind of dig that we get to watch them because I like the movies.
Yeah, but they're not really
But they're
sports
like-
related.
Like this one's like sports adjacent. Like there's a
Yeah.
sports. Like when I think of a sports movie, to me, the sport is a real, truly integral part of the story.
Yeah.
And in this one, it's a little tangential. Like the whole purpose of this story is this guy he's kind of a bookworm a little bit, and he really wants to fit in at college, and I got the impression, it's not really explained, but I got the impression that maybe he wasn't the most popular person at his high school.
I think he was trying to reinvent himself.
And he's trying to reinvent himself when he gets to college, and he's doing all these things to try to do it. And the football stuff just kind of becomes a part of it.
Yeah, it's a means to an end.
Whereas, like a movie like Rocky, it's all about Rocky, and his boxing.
Right.
Or, it just, movies that have sport in it aren't necessarily a sports movie. That's just kind of my take on it. This movie is great. I would definitely recommend watching it. It's super enjoyable. We had a great time watching it.
Well, I think the reason why this movie made the list is I was looking at the trivia content, and it's credited as the first sports movie to be produced.
I did see that.
Yeah, so maybe that's why.
But again, it's not really a sports movie.
No,
in
it's
my
not.
opinion.
No, it's not.
The sports stuff maybe takes up maybe 10 to 15 minutes of this movie. I think this movie is maybe
An hour?
a little over an hour long, maybe 70 minutes.
Yeah.
And maybe 10 to 15 of it involves sports stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other things in it that,
There's a little love story.
there's a bit of a love story.
There's a big party.
There's this huge party that's involved in it. And then there's, this whole thing with
his rivalry with the most popular guy in school.
Right. And he's there's this girl, and she seems to like him for who he is rather than all the stuff he's trying to be.
Yep.
So there's that stuff, and then you kind of have the football stuff, and he's a little bit like Rudy, where he's trying to make the football team, and he's just really not good at football. But then he just decides to become the tackling dummy, essentially, and he's just getting the shit beat out of him, and it's so funny.
It's actually a very funny movie. I think
There's a lot of really funny stuff.
and I
in
think
it.
the reason why I do like silent film movies is because of all the slapstick comedy.
I was gonna say you dig slapstick.
I do dig slapstick, and there's a lot because there's no talking, so you can't do that.
And the slapstick in this, it's not on the level of say the Marx Brothers.
No.
But it's really well done, and it's pretty well shot. The other thing about this movie is it's a really good print.
Yes.
Which you don't get a lot of for movies of that time. What you often find when you're watching movies, especially from the 20s, is they have to to kind of preserve the film, because Hollywood historically has done a really bad job about preserving its history. And a lot of movies have just been completely lost to time. There are no prints of them. They were made, they were shown, basically movies were just made to be shown, and that was it. They didn't think about
Yeah.
people watching this movie 10 years from when it was released, let alone, like we're now basically, this movie was made in 1925, so it's 100 years ago, essentially.
Yeah.
So, no one was thinking about this brand new art form. I mean, it's a really, really new art form film. I mean, it's barely over 100 years old. So, people weren't thinking about preserving it. So, like, a lot of these movies are completely lost to time. And the ones that we do have, a lot of times it's multiple prints that are put together, so you don't have a consistency of color. In almost every case, you don't have the original music.
Mm-hmm.
Because in a lot of cases, like, there was someone like playing the music
Yeah.
live. So, like, when these movies are preserved, usually you'll get like in the credits, it'll talk about like some modern interpretation of the film music.
Mm-hmm.
So you're seeing it with. It's kind of interesting because you're seeing this movie from the 20s, but the music is still, even if it kind of evocative of that time, it's still done by someone.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like when, like, the last 30 years, this was done a lot in the 90s. A lot of these films were preserved in the 90s,
Oh, okay.
like from like 90 to 95. So you get like a lot of like, basically like some composer who's essentially contemporary that's, putting their musical, print on it.
Yeah.
So, still great. But it's just, this one, like, I really like the movie, but you'll probably be kind of like, well, you guys didn't score it very high. Well, the reason I didn't score it very high is because our criteria is really focused on
The sports aspect
the
of
sports
the movie.
aspect of the movie. So a lot, like, and this happened like on our love story list a lot too, is that there's some really, really great movies on that list that I don't consider to be great love stories.
No.
But I would definitely recommend watching them because they're very entertaining.
I thought the chemistry between the two leads was really good. Like, she was gorgeous.
Yeah.
She had that classic 20s look about her. And
just that silent film look about her, like there is an art. There was definitely an art form to silent acting. It's more evocative of like stage acting in a lot of ways.
Yeah, you had to do a lot with your body and your face,
Yes.
to put across feeling and conjecture. So, like with her, looking. And it was a little over dramatic because it had to come through.
Yeah.
So she's looking at him with googly eyes and things like that to kind of get the point that she was into him across, and they all did a very good job. They are just masters at that whole thing. The funniest part to me was how he asked this tailor to help him make like a tuxedo for this big party, right, that he was throwing, and the guy was taking forever, and I can't remember why, but he took forever.
Well, his wife said when he got like anxious or whatever, he would like
he'd knock off a couple.
Yeah,
and so he was delayed in getting it done for him. So the main guy goes to his store and is like, look, I gotta have this tuxedo. The party's already started. And so he's like, okay, well, I'll come with you just in case because it's put together, but not put together well. So he gets to this party and he's like moving around and, you see like parts of the tuxedo come apart and the guy is there trying to hide and like sewing
he's like behind this curtain. So he has to like, the herald has to like walk by, near the curtain so he can like...
Yeah, so he could sew up stuff quickly.
And like in the middle of it, he has one of his episodes.
Yeah, he has his episodes and he has to drink and so then he's kind of shit out of luck. But it's really funny. It's a good time.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Just not a true sports movie.
No. Not at all.
I gave it a 59. Jerry gave it a 58. So the list score is 58.5.
All right. If you've seen this movie, please leave a comment on what you thought. Please like our episode if you liked it. Also, if you'd like to get in touch with us directly, please do so at ratingthelist@gmail.com. I I think that's it for now. I'm Jerry.
I'm Brad.
And we're rating the list. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.